So I wanted to film today's video outside with the rabbits, and now I'm out here and I'm filming, and they all decided to go into the hidehouse. Hello everybody, this is the Not So Serious, and today I have a story time. So my husband recently just bought me Stardew Valley, and I have literally done nothing except for playing that for the past few days. And while I play the game, I like to listen to like storytime videos in the background while I play, and so I've already listened to every single story time from the Gabby show twice. So now I've moved on to Tanamoja's story times because they get very interesting. And so recently I was just listening to one of them that mentioned her stalker videos, and it suddenly like lit a light bulb. I was like, I have a story that's kind of like a stalker-ish thing, but just not as like dark. It's the only like stalker thing that I've ever experienced. So it's not one of those stories where like I fear for my life stalker story. It's more of a, I want to punch this person in the face because they won't leave me alone. Let's go to the beginning. So in our church, for girls from like 12 to 18, they have a girls camp, and it's like 1 week out of the summer. And then boys have scout camp for boys between 12 and 18 for 1 week. So it's like an all girls camp and an all boys camp. I've been going to the girls camp for a couple years, so this is my 4th year going. Since I've been going to this girls camp for 3 years now, I've already made a group of friends from other places that go, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna go meet my friends this year and we're gonna go get a cabin together or something. We get there, you know, I find the table with my friends and we go to sit down, and we're like talking about all the things we want to do, like when are we gonna sneak out at night, when are we gonna sneak off into the wood, when are we gonna break all these several like rules and whatever. Taco is joining us. Hello, Taco. So we're sitting at the table and we're hanging out, and we have one of the camp leaders walk over to us with a girl following her, and this girl is really tall. Part of it is just her normal height, but then I look down and she's wearing wedge high heels. We're like somewhere in Texas camping. I mean, do girls actually camp? No. We had cabins with electricity. Still, you wear tennis shoes, but she's wearing wedges. And she's already like 5 foot something, and now with the heels she's like 6 foot something. So she's really tall, like taller than the leader, and we're like, what's going on? And like we didn't realize that she was another girl. She was like, oh, this is another girl who wanted to join us with girls camp. And we're like, she's not a leader? She was all like, yeah, she's traveling with her family. They are coming here to go see the temple and go see some other relatives, but the thing is she's missing her girls camp back at her church where she lives, and she still really wanted to come, and so her parents convinced us to let her and her sister come, and her younger sister's with her group right now, and she is in your age group, and so she would be a 4th year with you guys. And I just wanted to like introduce y'all and you guys have fun. And we're like, okay, cool, nothing wrong with that. Here was my first mistake. I introduced myself first. Let's call this girl Lily. So Lily sits down right next to me. I don't remember if I shook her hand or something, but I was like, hi, I'm Not So Serious. What's your name? I will never forget her exact response. Hi, my name is Lily, and if you ever want to move somewhere, don't move to my old house because it's haunted. What? Why would I care? How would I know what house was yours? How do I have control over where my family moves? What? Everyone at the table was just like, what? So we all, introduce ourselves. And then she continues on to talk about why her house was haunted. She's just telling us about these individual ghosts that talked to her, some that tried to like kill her or something. And then her younger sister, who I will tell you right now is not as crazy as this girl. Let's call her younger sister Petals, because I'm gonna just give these girls plant names. Let's just go with it. Petals was actually pretty okay. She could be a little bossy, but she wasn't crazy. Petals comes over and she's like, hi, I just wanted to see the group that you were in, talking to Lily, of course. And she's like, oh, I'm just telling them about her old haunted house. And Petals goes, oh yeah, it was haunted. And so Lily continues to talk about her haunted house that she no longer lives in. We're just kind of sitting there like, what about our plans to break all the rules? Can we even include this girl? So then a leader finally announces, hey, everybody go pick your cabins. 1st years are in this area, 2nd years are in this area, 3rd years are here, 4th years are here. I had a group of 3rd years that were like really close to me and freaking loved them to death. I was like, all right, you guys need to get a cabin that's close to our campsite of the 4th year so that we can cause mischief together. And they're like, we got you. Lily comes and is all like, can I come in your cabins? since like I don't know anyone else? My second mistake, I said yes. I mean, like, what am I supposed to do? I don't want to be rude. You know, she just has no friends yet. I don't want to completely exclude her. So this particular year, I was able to come with a really close friend of mine, and she hadn't been able to come with me other years because at one point, like, she moved and then she came back, and then at one point she was just visiting. We're really good friends, and I really love her. We're gonna call her Jennifer. So Jennifer and I were almost always together. We had lots of plans to do stuff together, and so when we came into the cabins, I picked a bed, and immediately Lily tries to like pick the bed right next to mine, but I was all like, no, Jennifer's gonna be right there. Sorry, we're like buds. You can't sit there. You can't sit with us. You know, nothing too crazy happens right afterwards. It's just kind of like, okay, let's settle in. Then we're gonna go meet our YCLs. And hey, burrito. YCL, I forgot what it stands for. The Y stands for youth, but basically to be a YCL, you're either in that age group or you've gone for the 4 years. And you're just basically one of the leaders, kind of. As like the day goes by, I realized that, you know, she's not branching out. She's not making any other friends. And I noticed that she's starting to really like cling to me. I kind of noticed that like every time I tried having a personal conversation, I'd be like, oh, hey, Jennifer, do you remember what we talked about? And then Lily would chime in and be like, hey, what are you talking about? So at first, you know, I don't actually want to think that she's clinging to me. I don't want to be like narcissistic and be like, oh, of course she likes me. But like there was something like a little bit off. So then it starts to like get to the point where other girls are noticing and they're like, hey, like, does she have an obsession with you or something? And I'm like, I don't know. It gets to the point where she starts asking where I am if I'm not there. So she would ask other girls if they saw me and where I went so she could come follow me. And I know this because I heard her like ask other people at one point and I hid. And then it got to the point where, you know, Jennifer and I would run off and we go to like the bathrooms. And of course we're camping, so it's like kind of like an outdoor bathroom thing where like the stalls are like outside. I have to use the bathroom, of course, obviously. That's why we went in the first place. Jennifer kind of like goes around the corner. She's like, Lily's coming. And I'm like, what? Why? We made sure that we went to the bathroom without her knowing. And so she's now coming towards the bathroom. So I get into one of the stalls and I lift my feet up onto the seat and I like ball myself up. And I'm all like, please don't let her find me. Please don't let her find me. Lily comes in and she says, where's Not So Serious? And Jennifer has to lie. And she's like, oh, she already went to the bathroom. I'm actually just washing my hands. She had to go first. So I think she went into like the cabin or something. And she's like, are you sure? And Jennifer's like, yes, I'm sure. So this happened like a couple times. The next one that I remember very clearly is that we were hanging out in our cabins. I was playing on my phone, charging it. Jennifer was hanging out on the bed across from me so that we could like talk more. And I'm just chilling on the bed and Jennifer gets up to get something and she looks through the door because the door has like mesh on it. And she goes, Lily's coming. I'm like, what? It was like free time. We'd snuck off again and we made sure that Lily didn't know we were going, and Lily has asked around, figured out that I'm somehow at the cabin and is now on her way. I was like, dude, what do we do? And so Jennifer is all like, dude, you need to hide, get under a bed. I'll make the covers hang over the bed so that she can't see you. Let me tell you a little bit more about the area that we're in. We're somewhere in Texas where it's basically infested with scorpions. So a lot of the times you'll walk into the cabin and you need to look around first to make sure there weren't any scorpions. And if there were, you need to either kill it, catch it, throw it outside, do whatever. I like bugs, so I like to catch them and keep them for a while. I didn't even bother checking. I just was like, I would rather get stung by a scorpion than deal with Lily. And so I jumped under the bed. Jennifer draped the covers over the bed to hide me, and Lily walks in and says again, where's Not So Serious? Please go away, please go away. I don't want to get stung, please go away. And again, Jennifer has to lie for me to get her to leave so I can come out from under the bed. That's when it finally dawned on me that, oh my gosh, this girl is legit like stalking me and trying to be with me all the freaking time. I was like the first one to talk to her, and suddenly now she thinks that we have some sort of connection and that she has to be like my friend and like be there all the time. It's just like, no. So this is honestly probably my favorite part about this whole story. Oh, it's so bad. We were hanging out with the third years that I spoke about before. We had them sneak into our cabin. We were gonna have like a big like sleepover in the fourth year cabin. It just so happened that Lily's younger sister Petals was part of the third year group, and so she was like, hey, can I join? And at this point I actually kind of liked her and I was like, yeah, come on, You can join too. You're crazy sisters with us anyways. What worse can it get? Oh man, if only I knew. And so it actually wasn't that bad with Petals, at least. Petals was actually cool. She shared a bed with me, we shared snacks, and we left the cabin at one point in the middle of the night to go cause some mischief for other people. It was actually pretty fun. Back to the original part. So the third year's come, we hang out in the cabin, and we're trying to tell like scary stories. I know absolutely no scary stories except one, and it's not even scary because it's stupid. So I was like, yeah, I don't have any, ha 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 ha. And so everybody else is like telling a scary story or like trying to, like most of them suck. And so Lily is all like, I have the scariest stories ever. And Petals gets a blanket and she like buries herself and she's like, oh no, her stories are so scary. And we're like, really? Really? So Lily starts. She's like, okay, this one's about spiders. And immediately some of the girls cringe because, you know, lots of girls and spiders don't mix. You know, I don't really care, so I'm just like, all right, let's see where this goes. I'm gonna do my best to recreate exactly how she told the story, the exact same way she spoke it, like the tone of her voice, how the story goes, the pace it goes. It's really bad. But the thing is, like, I remember it so distinctively that like it's never gonna leave my brain now. It's like scarred me for life because it's so bad. Here it goes. Be ready to cringe. So there was a girl and she was like pretty and rich and all. And so one day there was a spider that crawled up to her and she said, ew, I hate spiders. And so she killed it and went about her day. That night, she felt something brush on her face, as if something was crawling on her, and she tried to wipe it away, but there was nothing there. So the next morning, she told her mom, Mom, I think there is a spider crawling on my face. Her mom said, oh, don't worry, it was probably nothing. You're probably over-exaggerating. The girl said, okay. That night, she felt more crawling, but over not just her face, but over the rest of her body. But when she looked, there was nothing there. So the next morning she told her mom again, Mom, I think I felt spiders crawl on me. Her mom goes, oh, sweetie, you're just imagining it. There's nothing there. That night, she goes to bed and she feels one spider crawl on her and then another, and then another, to the point where she's completely covered in spiders. The next morning, she disappeared. The end. I had to stop myself from just bursting out laughing. It was the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And like, what was the way she was talking like, this is an ASMR video. Like, what even? And like, Jennifer and I are giving each other looks like, what? And like, none of the other girls are scared except for Petals. Poor Petals is actually buying this crap. And she's like, like rocking back and forth in her blanket. I was like, Petals, calm down. And then she had a second one. She had a second story. And you know how it went? The exact same way. Same pace, same voice, same like ASMR crap, but except she just changed the plot of it to a guy who, I don't remember how this went because I was just like so fed up with it, like, oh my gosh, shut up. She was saying that like some guy chopped off his hand's wife, buried it somewhere, and then like the hand, each night, like the ghost of the hand was like crawling up him and then it like killed him one morning, like exact same way with the spiders, like, but it was just so bad. And it doesn't even stop there, it gets worse. So after her story, she goes, guys, I don't tell many people this, but I can read your auras. And your auras are in the shape of either wings or like something else. I don't remember what it was, but like the main one was that she could see your aura in the shape of wings and their color and what they meant. We just kind of like sit there and we're like, you mean kind of like a psychic that scams you for your money? Like that kind of stuff? And she's like, no, I can actually see your wings with the color of your aura. And we're like, okay, well, why don't you read one of our wings? And she goes, not so serious. I'm like, okay, great. You can tell this crap is fake because if you know anything about fortune tellers, you know they're all scams. You know how they do. They say like, oh, I see like trees, and then like you're like, oh yeah, I grew up in the foresty area. Like they're giving you clues so that you'll say something and it'll like seem like they're actually psychic. Stuff like that. She pulls the same crap and expects us to believe it. So what she goes here, she like looks at my wings, okay? And she goes, so your wings are very big. Now that means something. I don't remember what that meant. And she goes, they're very big. They're a bit torn. So it says that, like, you've gone through some stuff. You've gone through some stuff. And your aura is the color gray. Now that means you've had a hard life and you've gone through hard trials. I'm 15. The only hard thing I've ever gone through is being grounded by my parents. What are you talking about? And like, that was it. That I've gone through things and that I've gone through hard trials. Oh gosh, that was really interesting. We finally go to bed. Petals and I sneak out. We cause some mischief for some other people. We come back with some like food afterwards. I come back with a soda. She comes back with some chocolate. And Lily wakes up and she looks at me and she sees the soda. She's like, oh, give me a sip. And I'm like, no, I'm not sharing my food with you. Go get your own. Ask your sister for her chocolate. Why do you want mine? So anyways, so now the end of camp is coming. It's getting to the point where we're starting to become kind of mean. Like, I feel like I ruined this girl's summer, you know? But it's just like, she would not leave me alone. She would not talk to anyone else. She would not give me personal space. It was getting to the point where I felt like I was being attacked, and so I was trying to defend myself. But now that I look back at it, it's like, you know, I was pretty mean to her. I probably could have been nicer about it. But it got to the point where one girl and I were walking. Lily is following us like 5 feet behind us, and we both at the same time look behind, look at her, look at each other, and we start bolting, and we run away from her, and we look back and she's running after us in her wedged heels. So now it's getting to near the end, and so each camp, group, year, whatever you want to call it, like first year, second year, third year, fourth year, so each of the years are now going to kind of like compete against each other. So one thing was like, you have to create a skit or a song, and so we took, I don't remember what song we took, but we took a Disney song, obviously, because we're Mormons and we're not gonna take any other like song because they're all awful. Taking some Disney song, we changed in the lyrics, and at this point I've caught several scorpions. I kept them in an empty water bottle. I gave them a little habitat. I had 2 on one point. I named them Fred and George. And so like, I was like the only one that caught scorpions. Anybody else had a problem, they saw a scorpion, I would go and catch it. So in the song they wanted to include like, you've seen scorpions? She's got 12, and that like they point to me, and because I was like the one that caught the scorpions. Well, the moment they said, they're like, yeah, we want to like include that and say like, yeah, you got 12 scorpions or something. Lily says, oh, I've caught scorpions too. When? She did not catch a single scorpion. You know what she did though? I had my bottle with my 2 scorpions, Fred and George. She's like, oh, I think they need more rocks in their habitat. She gets a rock that she has to forcefully put in the bottle, and it drops right on top of one of my scorpions and kills it. I was mad. Thinking back to it now, I think what she was planning on doing was like, oh, I've caught scorpions too, so that means you should include me with her in this part of the song, so it should be like, they got 12, that me and my best friend, not so serious, like, no. Of course, she's just lying out of her butt, and no one believes her, and they're like, no, we're not gonna do that, it's just her. After that happened, now it's like the very last like thing of camp. It's like an assembly, kind of, so there's all these rows of chairs, and then there's kind of like a stage, and there's like a person on the stage, they're gonna talk to us, and they have the chair set up. Jennifer and I are like, okay, we wanna sit together, but we don't wanna sit with Lily. So we go to one of the very back rows, we go to the very end of one of the rows, and I sit on the very end, and Jennifer sits right next to me. Lily scouts us out, comes over, goes to the row in front of us, takes the chair from that row, pulls it up right next to me, and sits down next to me. You know what I told her? I'm sorry, but I'm OCD. You need to move that chair back because I can't handle it. I mean, she bought it, so... She ends up moving the chair back, and I think she sees her sister, Petals, and she goes to sit with Petals instead. But then after that, I think we went back to our cabins, we went to bed, and then that morning we left, and I never saw her again. As I was filming this, I realized that I forgot to put this in before I ended the video. Or these are the feelings that I felt during this event as a 15-year-old. Yes, it is super cringy and really annoying, and no, it was not the right thing to do. And this girl was, by all means, not a bad person. She was actually pretty nice, but she just went about the wrong way of how to make friends and cling to the first person who talks to her, which was not the right thing as well. This is just me being extremely petty and cringy over something extremely stupid. So that is the story of me being like a 15 or 16-year-old being weirdly stalked by some girl at a religious summer camp. I don't really know. Like, it's not dark or anything, but I hope you got a good laugh out of it. But yeah, I have some other story times that I would love to share in the near future. Hopefully that you'll stick around, see more, maybe you'll subscribe, maybe you'll like the video and do whatever, and hopefully we'll see you next time. See ya!